Hi, I'm Howard Spencer of Spencer's Whole Food Plant-Based Eats and Treats. It is well known in Trinidad and Tobago that Trinidad and Tobago has a chronic disease problem. This was highlighted in a recent meeting of the Joint Select Committee of Social Services and Public Administration, which highlighted the nation's response to its burgeoning NCD epidemic. This meeting was done in conjunction with the heads of the various regional health authorities and officials from the Ministry of Health. In this meeting, the chairman of the same Joint Select Committee, Dr. Paul Richards, highlighted some concerning statistics regarding hypertension, specifically the prevalence of hypertension in Trinidad and Tobago.
PAHO says that Trinidad and Tobago is one of the countries in the region with the most cases of arterial hypertension. It reported the Caribbean has the highest rates of hypertension, accounting for a quarter of the population. But Trinidad and Tobago has an even higher hypertension number than the overall region. It reported that while the Caribbean has a 23% of rate of hypertension, compared to 17.6%, that's just over 6% difference, while TNT has a 25.8% overall rating, 29% in men and 23.7% in women. Why is Trinidad and Tobago's numbers trending in that direction?
Now, this highlights a very concerning trend in Trinidad and Tobago, where hypertension has been on the increase. The prevalence of hypertension has been on the increase. Because if we go to the actual STEPS report from which the data which Dr. Richards referred to, those statistics came from that report, which was a 2012 report. If we go to that actual report, we can see that there is a very concerning trend in regards to hypertension prevalence, because there seems to be an increase in the prevalence of hypertension. In the Trinidad and Tobago National Health Survey done in 1996, among a cohort of over 6,000 people, it was revealed that there was a prevalence of hypertension of 18.2% in males and 28.1% in females. So the trend seems to be going in the wrong direction if you are concerned about the health of the population. As a matter of fact, in a recent town hall meeting of that same Joint Select Committee, Dr. Abdul Hamid of the North Central Regional Health Authority, he highlighted the prevalence of hypertension in large public health screenings done across that region.
Hypertension, Trinidad and Tobago, of the adult population, which looking at approximately 1 million persons, 26.3% of the population has elevated blood pressure. We could round that off to about 30%, and that means we have 300,000 people right now in this country walking around with high blood pressure. Even when we have large-scale public screening activities, that goes up to approximately 50%.
Another disturbing trend, which Dr. Hamid pointed out, was the trend of younger people being presented to hospitals and health institutions with cardiovascular events, some of them even turning out to be fatal.
36% of cardiovascular disease deaths occur in people under 70 years of age. And what we see now in the public health system is younger and younger and younger persons showing up in the emergency departments with fatal heart attacks, with strokes, unable to survive very long as well.
Now, there are mainly two ways that the government and specifically the Ministry of Health, there are two avenues that the public health sector is using to confront this problem of hypertension. Number one is the behavior change model, or what is simply known as TT moves. And now, as I said in my last video, I don't hold much hope for this avenue having much of an impact in the population, because the same problems which were involved with regards to obesity, as I talked about in that video, it is the same drivers involved in hypertension. And the behavior change model would not work when we have an environment that is conducive to people getting hypertension. The second avenue that the government is using to address the problem of hypertension is what is known as the heart initiatives. And what the heart initiative is, it is essentially, it is a pharmacological model where once the patient gets a blood pressure reading and is diagnosed as hypertensive and is assessed and determined to be at a certain risk, you are placed on certain medications and you are given a regimen, and the way forward is determined based on your response to the regimen. So as I said before, once you get your blood pressure measurement, you determine whether you're hypertensive or not. You're determined, your cardiovascular risk is determined, and based on your blood pressure measurement and cardiovascular risk, you are placed on certain medications to lower your blood pressure, and depending on how you respond to this regimen, you are either given stronger medication or based on a doctor's recommendation, you are taken via an alternative route. Now, what seems mind-boggling to me is that what seems to get lost throughout this whole discourse with regards to hypertension is the topic of salt, specifically how salt is pervasive in the food environment in Trinidad and Tobago, leading to this burgeoning problem of hypertension that the nation is grappling with. Salt as a topic is usually only given prominence around occasions like Salt Awareness Week or World Hypertension Day or any one of those observances. But otherwise, it is either gets lost in the noise or it gets put on the back burner or lost in the background. And it is my opinion that that needs to change, because it is my belief that salt, especially sodium, plays a major role in the prevalence of hypertension in Trinidad and Tobago. Every single way you turn, there is some sort of dish or some sort of food item which has a lot of salt in it, and that contributes to the hypertension prevalence that we have in this nation. In the next video, I will show you how salt plays a very critical role in how high or how low your blood pressure is.